Welcome back to tonight's Sad Reality, where the only sad reality, or the tragedy, worse than my upload schedule, is probably going to be the gameplay and the recording quality. So, we're here, I suppose, and I just want to make sure I'm actually recording. Good, that's good to go, it's always solid. But yeah, so there's a lot of keybinds, I guess. So today I went rock climbing, and, anything cool about that in particular? No, not really. I thought it'd be funny to play this game and talk about that. So, every so often you have a day off, right? And, most people just play games, do whatever on their day off. I don't really do anything too crazy. I pretty much do the exact same thing everyone else does. And, I guess now I'm playing this game. And my gameplay is going to be subpar. I know this first part looked kind of fast. Trust me, it wasn't. This is going to be mid. But yeah, so on your day off, you can do a lot of things. And, well, today I actually went rock climbing. And, it was fun. Did some V1s, V2s, which is pretty good, I'd say, for my second time going. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I've got a very thin build, so, like, I'm kind of made for it. But, I would say I definitely enjoyed the experience. Now, would I recommend it to other people? Definitely. Your hands are probably going to get a little bit screwed up if you're going bouldering like what we do. Especially to the degree that we do it, because some of the people that we go with regularly will do, like, V3s, V4s. Which is pretty difficult, but, like, for an average person anyways. Like, even there's a V2 where I literally, like, throw myself across a wall. And I was like, this is cool. And it feels like what I'm doing right now, actually, where I can't figure out how to maneuver this. Oh my gosh. When you watch the recording back, I'm gonna be like, oh, well, that happened. That was a sequence that, in fact, happened. But so when you go rock climbing and stuff, you're like, oh, you know, maybe we'll take a picture of this, record it, whatever. The first time, remember it. And the second time, you're like, I'm just gonna keep going and doing things you can normally do. And just keep getting better. And then it becomes for you and your friends, you know, it's not just showing off to the family members or whatever. Although, even if I did that, I probably wouldn't send it to my family members, I'd send it to my friends before I do that. I'm not particularly close with my family, but, we're there. That's cool, I guess. I feel like a lot of people are in that same boat. Oh my gosh, usually I don't struggle this much on this part. Usually I'm done with this by like a minute 30 or something. I guess I'm just throwing. Love rage games, especially when you record and try to make it into a whole thing. What was I going to talk about today? Just kind of the idea of taking a break from work and how, like, there's a lot of stuff you can do in that time. But it's pretty important to, like, actually genuinely take a good rest and prepare for the next thing. Because if you're always going and doing the next thing, then it would feel like life kind of never ends with that. Not like that, well, some people like that, I guess they're the workaholics out there. But, I think there's a little more to life than working. I mean, there's a time to serve other people, and there's a time to be served as well. It's like, there's only so much you can really do in the, you know, finite amount of time we have in our lives, and might as well enjoy some of it. I think I talked about that too, with like a work-life balance, but for this it's really a question of, when you're resting, are you really resting? Because, like, I have a boss who works really hard, and I had sometimes wonder if he actually feels rested at all, because, like, there's always something going on at the store, and I feel bad for him having to deal with that. Also, do I do the speedrun skip this time? I don't know if we're gonna try it. Flashback to that time Ludwig said he made this, like, he invented this speedrun skip or something, when he had a stream of, like, 2 people that were watching. And, took credit or something for it, I don't know, something dumb. He actually mentioned it in one of his videos as well recently. By recently, I mean, like, I think literally over a year ago, back when he played this game, and this whole God Gamer Gauntlet nonsense. How far do I expect to get in this today? I don't know. But, when you rest, do you actually feel rested? And do you have friends to rest with, to hang out with? I mean, it feels like those days pass by so fast, and it's kind of hard to make anything meaningful out of it some days.
No.
But, does anything have to be, like, meaningful that comes out of it? Or is it just like, hey, just take a nap, you know? For me, I've always felt sleep was probably the worst use of my time, just because I was like, well, nothing to do with it, but, lately, oh my gosh, that's the second time in a row I did that. It's funny, when you're on camera, you'll find ways to choke in ways you didn't think were possible. Like, I thought this game was gonna be much easier than it was the first time I played it. And then I was like, oh, actually, streamers weren't just throwing for content, it's actually a kind of difficult game. That's crazy. Crazy concept, I know, right? Streamers are human beings, too, or something. Can I do this from this distance? Yeah, I can. It's doable. Something I will say, though, it's kind of funny. People don't realize that if you have a bad computer, that does kind of affect the physics in this game. In the sense that your reaction and the way you maneuver everything changes. Because you kind of got to be able to figure out what's going on if you're getting, like, 20 frames. So I can't say I recommend that, because the first time I played this game, I was also getting about 15 frames, because I was both recording and had friends who wanted to watch. So screen sharing on Discord and all of that on a laptop, which was not... My laptop was not happy that day. There's only so much we can do with our time. And I've always hoped we make the most of it, but I feel like nowadays, too, people rest more than we actually do stuff. I mean, most of the people I've grown up with don't really have jobs yet. Many of them do. And many of them are getting to move on in their lives. But not everyone is. I always thought that was interesting, because the people that don't work don't have the work ethic to work. The people that do work do, kind of. And that's just life as we know it, I guess. I mean, I guess the people will be in for a rude awakening eventually. But it kind of seems like this generation has lost a lot of what made previous generations kind of tick. And by that I just mean, like, something's always felt different about that, at least to me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Also, I almost just flung myself off the edge there. That would have been a travesty. This part you can kind of take slowly and just be patient with it. Just do this. Keep yourself close to the wall, kind of like actual rock climbing. Make the most of it day by day, step by step, hammer by hammer, inch by inch. My mouse cord is already coming off my desk here. I have a very small desk that I work with this because I'm not allowed back in my office because my parents are shit. But, such is life. I always thought it was funny how, like, I can do things that's, like, actually meaningful. My sister doesn't have a job, probably won't until, like, after college, whatever. We'll have 0 work experience, and I hope the best for her, but my parents don't seem to care about that or paying out tons of money for stuff that I think will probably be kind of useless in the long run. And, here I am, been trying to work on stuff, do YouTube for a while, and it never feels like people really cared about that. I mean, my friends did, parents never were like, they're like, just never cared. And the times where they do pretend to, it's like, hey, how's this going today? And I'm like, did you not read the community posts? Like, can you not see the things that are going on? Can you not see the videos and everything else? Like, if it's going well, it's going well. You can see stats and metrics and numbers and reactions and responses, and I don't know. Maybe I'm overly cynical when thinking about it. Sometimes life kind of feels like this game, where you're stuck for a while, then you find a way forward, then you find a way back, right to where you were. Or like, you're about to complete this jump, like it's like actual rock climbing where you commit to it, and then don't either know how to finish the climb, or aren't prepared for it, aren't ready, aren't mentally there, mental block, and just gotta keep trucking along. Like there, for example, I think I had that, but then didn't quite make something of it. Point is, in all this, I guess there's a lot of perspective to it, and that's always something I've hoped I would get better at with time, again, being a bit of a dumb 21-year-old. But, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It feels like, too, there's like this bit of an echo chamber, kind of like the narration in this game that I have turned off because it annoys me. I've heard it like 20 times already. The narration just being like the same thoughts, kind of. I don't know if it's... I think it's talking to you, the player, but, Diogenes being the character here and all this stuff. Get out of your hat. There we go. We're making progress. We're cooking. Not super well. I know people can play this game way better than I can. It's kind of how it feels. It's like looking at this and being like, oh yeah, I can do this, and speedrunners will do it, or task bots will do it in like 30 seconds, and I'm like, that's crazy. But I'm glad I put my time towards something else and not that, I suppose. I always thought it was funny too how like speedrunning's kind of mainstream nowadays because YouTubers, like big YouTubers, are like, I did a speedrun of this game, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You just played it with a timer on and said that you were doing it fast, whatever. I know there are like actual speedrunners out there, but I've always thought that it was kind of a lazy attempt at it, personally. But again, maybe that's a little overly cynical. People definitely try their best, and that's not to, like, flaunt on anyone. Maybe it's the perspective, the difference between me being in my younger 20s and some of the YouTubers that are bigger nowadays being close to their 30s or even in their 30s. Not like I watch really any streamers or YouTubers anymore that are, like, that old, I suppose. I never really watched any streamers to begin with. I always just watched the YouTube stuff, because I always felt like streams were just kind of a waste of time, a lot of nothingness in the day. Whereas YouTube, you get that peak brain rot, content slop, whoosh transition, everything happening, no character development, soulless beast chocolate, and that's life. At this point though, I'm gonna bring this all the way back around to what I was doing today on my break from work. It's funny how when you're with friends, you don't have thoughts like that. It's just like, you're chilling out with people, you know? And often you're much more happier for it. You're on the internet. You're just making something out of life. But, I suppose as far as everything else goes, it's, again, the whole thing I said earlier with perspective, like, you just don't really think about things like this when you're by yourself, or when you're with friends, versus when you're by yourself. Also, the audio balancing is decent here. I've always been kind of mumbly. Been told that by some customers, but also been told that's just where my vocal range naturally sits. So it could kind of be a little bit of both. It's probably me mumbling though, honestly. Introspection. Gotta love it. Am I gonna be able to finish a run of this tonight? I'm 12 minutes is not a bad time. Like, I'm pretty happy with that so far, despite, like, screwing up on, like, the earlier section a ton. There's no shot I make this into something, right? Yeah. No, not down the snake. I've never actually been down that way either. But, I don't plan on it, because it's a waste of time. It's like watching someone make a mistake in life and just being like, I'm not gonna make that mistake. I know where that goes. I don't need to see it to have that. Whereas other things, I do need to make those mistakes in order to actually learn. Because you're like, well, the temptation's too great for this, that. I guess rock climbing can be kind of looked at the same way, because, there are times you can skip to the end, and it feels very rewarding. You can just kind of thrust yourself, brute force it, whereas other times you do actually have to take your time. And if you do try to brute force it, it just does not end well. I have a very thin build, so I'm not really the strength type. But, that does mean I'm a little maneuverable, I'd say, so I able to get up there. Although I was screwed up my elbow earlier, so I threw myself at one of the walls a little too hard on a V2, I think it was. The ones I really liked, though, were the ones inside the walls. It was like a cave thing, where, like... Gosh, how do I even describe this? Concavity. I'm thinking, like, back to calculus now. But, so when you go inside a cave, you're like, this is hollow, and you're on the inside of it versus the outside. If you're scaling the outside like it's a sphere, it's easier, but if you're on the inside, it's a little bit harder to climb. Because it's like the inside of a sphere, where you have to be constantly fighting against gravity, or whatever. Those I kind of liked, because you could just kind of, like, spider yourself on the wall and get up there. Had some, like, really weird grips, but, they made it fun. I have a lot of respect, too, for my friend who's been bringing me, because not just do I get in for free, because he's got, like, a monthly pass thing, but, on top of all of that, he has a, he's been getting really good with it.
No.
Which I'm like, that's really impressive. I wanted to fling myself over to the thing on the left, but I'm not good enough at the game to do that. The platform, like the wooden thing up there. I love bucket jump. Just getting better at something, especially if that means going by yourself or whatever. It's much better with friends too, because you take an adequate break between each go at the wall. But it just means like, oh hey, you're trying the best you can, and yeah, you get better at it naturally. Or yeah, naturally, I suppose. I don't think he's doing like roids or anything. Be funny though. He doesn't look like he is though. That too is a consequence, much like every other choice in life. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Nice wall. I remember this one took me a while when I first did it, but it's like kind of gimmicky, but once you understand the gimmick, it's just not that hard. And I suppose some walls like that are kind of like that too in rock climbing, because some are very technique heavy, some are very just like pull yourself up. Some are like spider yourself, looking like a frog swimming on the wall or something, or... Yeah. Life's enjoyable, there are things you can do, and sometimes the simple things are some of the most enjoyable. And that is fine. I think that was kind of by design. Especially when, you know, we can be complicated people, creatures, whatever, more than one dimension, multi-dimensional people, personalities. We don't have to be, though. I mean, sometimes there's some fun stuff hidden in there that's just very simple. Like, literally opening cardboard boxes or, like, opening Christmas presents when you're younger, you're just like, man, this is fun. And now I kind of do that as a part of my job if I'm unloading a semi-truck. Which can be hard some days when it's like the treadmills and stuff. It's definitely work. And I guess you sort of miss the little thrill of being a kid and opening the fun stuff. But, there's still some of that even in the simple things. Like that. Dang. Wow, that was a really bad fall. Didn't think that was gonna happen. Usually when you fall down this, you don't fall down the entire mountain, but it does happen sometimes. 1650, this is kind of mid now. I think my record for this is 18 minutes. I can't remember. Probably done faster than that, if I had like a really good night. Probably helps too that I'm like, or it doesn't help that I'm not doing this the way I typically do it. Typically I go kind of slow up the mountain. Not like throwing myself up there, but I guess if I did rock climbing today, now I'm emulating that in the way I play this game or something. Although, I also played Path of Exile earlier today with a friend, and that was really fun. I also started a new hardcore character, and got him pretty high level. I was pretty happy with it. Surprised that worked. I didn't think that, I thought I was gonna fall there at the top. And that's one of those times where you can risk it just a little bit. Is this all one big metaphor for something throughout life? Maybe. Sometimes I also just think it's fun to play a game, talk about something, and it's kind of related. I think it's cool to take something serious and make it a little more not serious at times, and I know people, some of the really serious people out there, I don't think it's fun though. Like, it's cool to have some personality, some depth of character, understand some level of humor to life. But I do think the important things are out there too, so that's kind of what this channel's been, and hopefully what it will continue to be. Even if I've got my garbage speedruns, if we can even call this a speedrun, kind of like I was making fun of YouTubers earlier for their casual playthrough with a timer on. This one's one of like my mortal enemies, this tower. I feel like this one has the most. You just gotta kind of learn it muscle memory. I don't know if a lot of this game is muscle memory or adapting to the situation, like realizing that you're falling and catching it, or figuring out what the case is. And there we go. Wow, I did not think I was going to beat it that fast, or fit all that into one video. Like, sometimes I'll play this game and it'll take me like an hour, sometimes it'll take me 20 minutes. Not like I really care that much. But, yeah. Hope you have a good day, though, or a good night, and, I hope each day you make something out of it, even if it's something that's just kind of chilling out for a little bit. There's always something to do each day. And please tell me I'm not falling down. I did not launch that properly either. Please, there we go. Time. Alright, 1943. It's probably going to be not quite that. I don't entirely know when it starts and stops. I think it starts as soon as you control the character and then stops as soon as you see the story background. Yeah, all that said, thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever. I hope these mean something, maybe not. And have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching.